Hey students, in this video I'm going to go over quadratic regression problems under review, and that is that second page of the packet. So first remember that you do need to not memorize, but at least understand the process of getting to quadratic regression, which are these steps right here given in your notes. And it's just practice and reasoning that you got to do after that. So here we have the example of the table shows the population of a town where 1996 to 2004 is shown. Assume that T or X is the number of years since 1996, so you're going to use these numbers right here, and then P is the population measured in thousands. Use this data to find the quadratic regression and then compare which one of those is the answer. So steps that we're going to follow are, we're going to go home, and then we're going to open a new document. So new. Then if it's something saved right there from previous users, just click no. After that, we're going to add a list in spreadsheet number 4. That's opening an Excel sheet technically. We're going to type in the X and Y at the top of AB because we're telling the calculator that we're only using these 2 columns to put in data. And then we're going to fill in the given data on these spaces right here. So according to the table, our x's are at the top, so we're going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go back up and carefully type the correct values that you have on the 22.8, 25.0, 26.5, 27.1, 27.8, 28.1, 27.9, 26.9, and 26.1. Okay, now that the data is in, we are going to follow these steps right here to open the program that will give us that quadratic regression equation. So we're going to go to menu, and the program is statistics, calculations, stat calculations, and then out of all these regressions, carefully select quadratic regression. Here, we're going to tell the calculator that our X lists are going to be represented by the X. So if you scroll right here to the arrow, you're going to select X, which is the title for column A. And then on the Y list, we're going to say that we're using the values on column B. So we're going to say Y. After that, it's telling you that the equation is going to be saved on F1, and you just press enter. So here are the values that were calculated, and then you just have to look at the A, B, and C. And again, round them up like money with 2 decimal spaces, and that should be your equation. So we're going to have an equation that has an A value of, following this template right here, A value of negative 0.21. And right away, as you're doing that, you can see the answer choices that have that A value. Only C has that A value. Confirm the B value and the C value just to be sure. So B value is 2.08, B value is 2.08, only these two had it. And then C value is 22.96, which if we round it, it'll be 23. So that confirms that this C value is the correct equation for that. So you're done answering the equation for the data. Now, sometimes they're going to ask you to predict values. So here's asking you to use this line to estimate the maximum population of the town and in what year. So pretty much what happened here is that you analyze data and it traced a parabola showing that. And then now that you have an equation that has that pattern, it's asking you for that maximum value. So let's convert this to a graph. The steps here on that paper tell you that to do the graph, we need to do control doc. So we're going to press control doc, and we're going to add a graph. And then we're going to arrow up And then F1, we have the equation already typed, so we just got to press enter. So now the equation is graphing the quadratic regression, and we need to use that to calculate the maximum. So here's where you need to decide, what to do, whether you zoom out, re-change the window here. It's up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and just zoom out and see if I can see that little loop happen. I'm assuming it's up here somewhere. There it is. So that would be the maximum representation right here of the population. And I'm going to go to menu, and I can either trace, graph trace, and then just look for that maximum value, which is shown right here. Or I can also go to menu and analyze a maximum value. And then with this, it tells me to kind of create that area where it calculates the maximum. So I'm going to click and then drag over, and then it tells me the maximum point right there. So it was the same value previously shown. I'm just going to write it down right here. 4.89, 28.1. So this is the maximum as a point. What you need to do now is not just leave it alone. It's interpret what it's asking. Population and in what year. So we need to look at this as X and Y. And notice that the pattern, the table was X on the years, Y on the population. This is the years. This is the population. And then obviously in years, we're going to be rounding because we don't want to just talk about, years in terms of months and days. We just want to say how many years. So this is definitely more than 4 years. So we'll just say 5 years. And then this is the population, 28.1 thousands people. And as far as understanding 5 years, well, keep in mind that it's saying assume that T is the number of years since 1996. So we're talking about this being 1996, this being 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. So we're going to actually say that in 2001. In 2001, the population was the maximum at 28.1. So that's one way to answer that question. So if I want to try this again, just pause the video if you want to try it on your own and then check if you did it correctly. I'm going to go ahead and follow the steps again. So we're going to press home, open a new document. No, we're not saving it. Open a spreadsheet, label it X and Y. Type in the data. Now, just so you know, as you're typing this data, this is also doable through Decimals Calculator online, but I just want to make sure I teach you the skills of how to use a graphing calculator as well, because you're going to need those skills in higher mathematics, even college. And Decimals, of course, is accessible online, but you just want to also have the skills of how to use the calculator. Okay, so the data is in. I'm going to now open the quadratic regression of it. And based on my A, B, and C values of 0.002, it looks like 0.00, the only one that has that is C. I'm going to double check B and C as well. So letter B is 0.213. 0.213, so that checks. And then the C value is negative 0.107, negative point. So all of these three values check. So the answer is definitely C. And then what we're going to do now is answer the prediction part. You're going to use the equation that was created to estimate the stopping distance for a motorcycle traveling 70 kilometers per hour. So what to do now is interpret this in terms of math. So kilometers per hour in the table is on the left side, left column, which means is your X. And if they're telling you 70 on the x, they're asking you, if you were to put a 70 here, what number would you have here? So they're asking you to find a point when x is 70, what will be the y value? So you're going to definitely analyze the graph and find out when x is 70, what's your y value? So we're going to convert this into a graph. And then we're going to trace. And you can either click to the right until you get to that 70 on the points, or you can remember that I told you you can just type a value, press enter, and it takes you directly to that point. So I could type any value, press enter, and it takes me to that point. And I'm looking for 70. So what I'm going to do is type 70, press enter, and it takes me to that point. So at 70, it has 27.3. So to interpret this, I'm just going to say that it is taking 27.3 meters. That's the stopping distance. And that's it. That's how you do this topic of quadratic regression. Hopefully you understand it.